Sean Martin is the vocalist, guitarist, and executive producer behind The Quarantined, which is a grunge punk metal project rooted in socially critical songwriting and real lived experience. A U.S. Army Airborne Infantry veteran who deployed to Iraq with a third of the 509th, Sean channeled his post-service recovery into music, graduating from Musicians Institute in Hollywood and building The Quarantine from the ground up across LA, Florida, Boston, and Nashville. The band's latest album, Aversion to Normalcy, was recorded at Blackbird Studios with producer Nathan Yarborough of, Hailstorm, Alice in Chains, Evanescence fame, to name a few, and has recently surpassed 900,000 Spotify streams and 40 million TikTok views. Is that right? I got those numbers all got down. Sweet. Kudos to you again for being patient with my pronunciation of third of the 509th. I swear to God, I thought I was going to mess it up yet again, but you've been very kind and patient with me, so thank you.
Of course. You're welcome.
The basic premise of the show, I'm just trying to make this like a survival manual for people that are in the creative industry. Like, most of it does focus on music, 100%, because the music industry in particular is pretty nasty. We know it. I mean, but what I like to think about as well is I also go outside of that and I go into and I speak with writers and authors, and I speak with all types of creatives. And the one thing that is the same is, well, the few things that are the same is, one of them is, we have these perceptions of what the given industry or creative industry is going to be. And then turns out might not really be it exactly. Before you went into the music industry, and this is the kind of genesis and origin story, what did you think the music industry was? I mean, what would from the outside looking in, what did it appear to be?
I was looking at it at kind of multi-tiered, classed, based in a way, if you will. The richest to the middle ground to the center middle to the low. And, for me, I was thinking, I'm going to obviously shoot for the stars and hopefully I'll end up on the moon, but I also knew that what I was going after creating was more important than where it ended up. I knew that the integrity of the art itself had to be coming from a real place, and it required a large amount of honesty from me and objectivity on myself in order to accomplish that. And because of that, I knew that I needed help. So I reached out to therapists to help me organize and understand everything that I could in the cheapest way possible. For me, I'm in the U.S. We're lucky that we have an organization called the Vet Center that offers free counseling for combat veterans, and it's just recently that they've opened up it to military sexual trauma victims as well. So there's
only recently. Sorry,
only recently. Yes.
Jesus, my God. Well, I guess it's a step in the right direction.
Progress comes slow, but yes.
Yeah, no kidding. Fucking hell. But yeah, as you were, sorry.
So, there was a real focus on making the art really what I wanted it to be, and not in like a super picky way, but getting experts to refine it so that it matched up with well-established doctrine. So that's telling stories using real experience and the actual language that is used to describe the real human experience that I'm describing in the art.
Huh. And so that was what you had thought it was, and then it's funny, you kind of jumped ahead to the part that I usually ask, which is, what did you build to keep going in it? I guess, what did you learn it actually is? This is like your opportunity to gripe or wax poetic about the music industry in general. I mean, were you ever exposed to it beforehand? Like, before you engaged in it professionally, what was your experience of the music industry, if any? And what was, were there some nasty surprises or nice surprises for you once you started engaging in it?
So I wrote an 8 part blog, series about the music industry and transferring over in the 2012s into the digital era, and I called it Music in the Digital Era. And I described the music industry in that as a dead horse in an ocean of deceit and lies.
So, obviously, super big fan.
Yeah.
This is 2012. And this is in 2012.
This is 2012.
We're still in like the Blogspot era, which like, God, I wish that we were back. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, right. Oh, nostalgia feels good.
Before the waste of, before Suno. Let's just put it that. God damn. Yeah, so it feels like it's music to my ears, and it's also like at the same time I love the honesty. Let's just put it that way. But so at that point, even you were able to see the industry for what it is, which is like, this is wild. So yeah, you learning about that quickly. So you had kind of mentioned what you had to sort of do to keep going. What have you had to build in the time since that you credit with actually moving the needle the most for yourself?
For myself, like personally, I would say two things, because I tried to go about as many different avenues as I could to advance things, because there was a time in which I was totally destroyed and I had to figure out entirely new ways of doing things. I would say one thing that I did because I was capable of doing, that made a really big difference and really opened up my eyes to perspective, was traveling the country playing open mics, because I could. And I went to as many different open mics in all the major cities that I possibly could. Everything from, Los Angeles all the way up in Northern California, all the way across to Colorado, and around the Midwest, from Sioux Falls to Minneapolis, Chicago, to, I even went to Gary, Indiana, and did a show at an Irish pub there. Met a dude who sounds exactly like Johnny Cash. And I mean fucking exactly. And the dude is awesome, and he puts out like a consistent high quality content all the time, and his name's James Guetta. And I met him, and he's traveling all around in that northern area, and so it was a really great conversation to talk with him and some other people who were playing the open mic there. That they're just regulars, just going about their day. But you go and meet people like that in this, from the different eras, and you see who's really pushing performance and trying to hone their craft, and who's just fucking around. And it becomes really, really obvious, the difference between the two. You can spot them almost instantly. And I took this all the way across, all the way over to Boston, and all the way down to Florida, and everywhere in between. And it's the perspective on the music scenes themselves, so that you start to understand how people feel about their own music scene, because they'll tell you if you let them tell you. You can't come in there and be like, wow, like this is Disneyland, man. Like you can't like do that. You have to show up and be like, what's real? Like, like you do, like with journalism, like what's the good? What's the bad? What do you feel? Like you approach it with a process, and man, everybody has something to say, and they know. Here's the cool thing about it. They all know that if communication between the scenes was better, we'd have a real unified music industry that would exist regardless of unions, and it would probably create its own union.
You see that's goosebumps, because story time. Just some of my own background is I was in the DIY scene in Toronto, specifically like hardcore punk spaces, and like Sure, a little bit of crust, a little bit of grind, a little bit of that. Blah, blah, blah. It was very much DIY. Anybody getting any placements in magazines, let's put it this way, would be an aberration. So yeah, dungeon punk. I don't know. Fuck. But you're so right about the lack of communication between them, and it's because the old way of doing it was doing it with this, I like to call it a Vice magazine type of sensibility, where it's like, oh, we don't acknowledge the cool shit that we're doing. We don't want to be strategic. We just want shit to happen. Also worth noting, I used that particular magazine because, funny enough, not one but two chodes from that particular publication ended up being weirdly super alt-right pieces of shit that ended up, causing entire swaths of like absolute vitriol and nonsense. So, worth noting. Just something to watch out for next time you're like got the whole like tendency to like just be cool, dude. Maybe give that a fucking miss, because when the more silent we are, the more concerned with like silencing each other or like just talking shit about each other.
Yes.
Who's benefiting really? So,
Yes.
just something to watch out for. I share this only because I feel like you're a person that would appreciate it. I just finished recently the Antifa comic book by Gord Hill. That's a real good read.
Okay.
Gord, either one of his comic books. The other one is the 500 Years of Indigenous Resistance. So just a little flavor of like what his sort of slant of history is.
Yeah.
I strongly recommend it. I think that you are very much an honest and outspoken person, but I think that what grounds your experience is this pursuit, this ability to have been in all these open mics, and it's an extraordinary experience. I mean, it's so apt as well that you said Johnny Cash, because it's like, I've been everywhere, man. It plays in my head when I played everywhere, man. You're talking about all the places you've been. I mean, like, I think that that's the thing that we don't get to do nearly as much, which is pound the fucking pavement, I mean, that's such an experience. And how long were you doing that for open mics?
For around a month and a half, 2 months. I
Just
tried
straight, just like boom.
Yeah, like I tried to do it as quickly as possible because I didn't have unlimited funds to spend on it.
Right.
I had to make it as affordable as I possibly could, and for a while I was planning on just staying in like hostels or as best that I could, and then I upgraded. From that I've learned how to create a autonomous, much more controlled situation where you have an RV and you're staying at campgrounds with a company called Harvest Hosts that hosts people all across the U.S. and Canada for free, and you pay a membership to Harvest Hosts that's very, very cheap, around $120 or so a year, and you can stay with these people because they all vet them ahead of time, so you don't have to worry about staying with absolute crazies or people who don't understand that you're maybe coming there for business. And so you would rather, come in and you could say hi and go around, but maybe you're not there just to socialize. You can tell them, I'm there for business. I'm here to socialize. I'm here to just, you have open communication with them instead of this weird, alternative situation where you're begging to stay on crazy people's couches and you have no idea what the hell the situation is. And like that shit worked when you could generally assume that anyone who's going to offer you a couch was going to be relatively okay with your safety in general. And that's not even fucking true anymore. So the fact that we have, we've upgraded, I felt, society in the ways that we've been able to create more accountability, because accountability is so necessary to keep people safe. If you don't have that, you don't have safety. So that's extremely important for artists and people who are traveling to create that for themselves. Look for the And what I mean by that is not put it all upon yourself, but look for the things that will help you and use them. Don't just be held on to the old ways of doing things. It has to be this. If it doesn't come from, someone always genuinely like crazy about your music, man, that shit doesn't always happen right off the bat. The reason why these artists had this kind of situation is because radio held everybody's attention. Everybody, not just a little bit, fucking everybody. One thing. Now we have 20 million different things holding 8 billion people's attention, and you can vie for all of that. The scale is totally different. So this is one of the things that I would talk about with other artists, because they would be pining after the old days, and I'm sitting there looking at them like, dude, you guys have a tool in your hand that will tell you anything. And it will find the actual real answer for it. Not just, I think my brother once heard from this guy who was pretty sure that he heard his sister tell this dude that if you go to this guy, then he'll give you some weed. That's not how the shit fucking works anymore, bro. Like, that's not how it fucking goes. And for these people to hold on to this expectation, I'm sitting there looking at them like, are you guys cavemen? Wake up to the reality of that you're in. This music thing travels faster than ever before. It can reach people instantaneously across multiple different demographics and psychographics as soon as you put it up, if you do the right things. And you have to play their stupid fucking game, and I fucking hate it. But it's better than having to do human intelligence gathering and try to tell individual people, hey, come to our show, and act like that's going to fucking work 99% of the time. It's not.
I'm feeling a little bit spooked because, like, I genuinely feel like you've been, like, listening in on conversations that I've had, because I've literally said the thing, like, yeah, I fucking hate doing it, and you got to do it, baby.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't like it. Okay, great. You don't like it. Fantastic. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what? Oh, are you going to just pine for the old way of doing it? I'm sorry, but, like, are we not in the same room right now? Are we not breathing the same air? We are in a shared reality, mon frere. This is not whatever digital sphere or bizarre little enclave you got on there. It's the real world. And the real world is informed by some very strange non-worlds. And it's, I mean, every person that you're going to speak to in a podcast is going to inevitably do the eye roll of, so the quarantined, huh? How about COVID, huh? And it'll be really funny because they'll have put that together all by themselves.
Right.
No, you probably heard and went through all of it during and after. I mean, what did it mean for you tactically? I mean, you got to think of it from a tactical perspective. Like, let's be realistic. I was just speaking with a former aerospace engineer. Crazy thing. He was thinking of it analytically and logically. Fucking go figure. So I have to say, the framework, the perspective that you bring, what did you think of that? What is the new thing that obviously comes with the territory of that? Obviously the game has changed in that moment, and since then, how have you had to shift?
So I've started to look into other avenues of salesmanship. For example, I wanted to figure out about market funnels. I had no idea about market funnels, and I'm like, how can they possibly help me? And I started to realize that once I saw the process that it was meta ad to single web page to divulge the web page to another, setting an appointment that then you give an offer, and then you recurring repeat follow-up. And I didn't realize that was a process, and people probably hearing this right now are like, holy shit, that's the fucking process. Yeah, that's it.
That's the funnel.
I can draw you a diagram, but that's the fucking funnel. So once you realize that that's what that is, you realize that half of the marketing that people would do back in the day, this is the exact same thing as when you would find a little card in a Revolver magazine that said, send this in and we'll send you the new record from Guns N' Roses or whatever. That's exactly the same fucking thing.
Yep.
So,
That's a you're in the middle of the funnel. Get further in to it's sort of like a Venus flytrap. You offer the sticky ooey gooey, and then before you know it, you dissolve them in a pit of acid. The rest of my team hates that analogy for whatever reason. I, for one, think it's just on the nose.
yeah.
You're so right. I'm actually so pumped that you mentioned that, of all things. Also, was not expecting that. Holy shit. Talk me through some of it, because like this right here, I think people need to like shut up and listen, as if they weren't already. But like seriously, this is extremely important, and this is the kind of thing like I got my marketing hat on and I'm like, yes, 100%. Yes. But tell us more about like what that looks like in terms of like from an artist's perspective, because like I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but like what does it look like and feel like to you from your perspective?
It looks like okay. So let me say that the normal marketing funnel doesn't really work unless you offer them some kind of high ticket value offer or a recurring value offer, meaning like Patreon, where you're constantly putting out content, or you're selling some high ticket thing where you're going to personally show up, do some kind of show, some kind of thing. But that's just touring, so you're not marketing that to fans, so you can't use that aspect of the marketing funnel with the high ticket offer for a band. It doesn't fucking apply. But what does apply is you could set them up for your Patreon. So you can do ads to create a marketing funnel to funnel them all into Patreon and start creating subscribers that way. Instead of just telling your friends and begging your friends, please follow my shit and please give me money. Because that shit don't work. In case you haven't fucking realized it already, there's an alternative way to get people who you don't, because marketing is about reaching everybody you don't know, not the people you do. It's very, very important I had to adjust my mentality about that. Because I'm like, how do I cultivate my audience? And the thing is I have to realize I don't have a big enough audience yet. What's the point of fucking cultivating, what's so little amount of data that you're going to end up weirding them all out by trying everything? Because the next step in this thing is you have to try new content creations, new content versions, and see what really works according to the algorithm. And that's really the social media component to go along with the marketing funnel that you would have. But so to an artist, this is a constant grind of creating content, and that means that you have to get your content creation on point. Means you have to do it in batches so that you can do it for a quarter, do all of the content that you need for a quarter, and then schedule it all out, which is another fucking massive undertaking that I'm taking on right now, and I am kicking myself in the pants almost every single day because I'm not doing it enough. But I'll tell you my solution to that in just a little bit. But there's you have to refine that. It can't just, I'm going to do this when I feel like it, because we artists want to operate on our emotions, but we have to start corralling that horse with some reins so that you can go in a direction that you actually want to go instead of just off in a direction. And so when you have those constraints and use the tools that are there, already in existence, that when you say marketing funnel, every single marketing person knows exactly what you're talking about. Not a single artist knows exactly how that goes. But when you connect the two, then you've actually are starting to work with a DIY marketing situation that doesn't require a label reaching out and putting your name in Revolver magazine.
Listeners can probably just hear me smiling, like as wide as I am right now, because I'm literally listening there going, like golf clap, please, because this is what I'm saying. Yeah. You can either complain about it or you can do something about it, and there's a difference between, like, yeah, social media sucks. Okay, great. What I mean, but which is funny. It was something that I got pointed out on another podcast I listen to all the time. My 4 cents, those four are so good. They said, like, there was somebody that they were talking to, and they said, griping about social media is also its own content pillar. So, like, talking about how much it sucks having to create content performs really well. Funny enough, on socials.
It's a universal experience.
It is. It really.
That's why it works.
Yeah, it really speaks to the listener and the reader. And that's the thing is, like, you got to have something that you can provide. People want to just get to the sex of, let's just cut to me going viral. And it's like, for what reason? Because I've done it. I've gone viral before. Mm-hmm. And here's how many dollars I got from that. People listening are like, what's he doing? 0 is the motion I'm making. Why? Because I didn't have anything really like properly set up. Yes, as a marketer, that was very frustrating for me. Get over it. I'm still not. But it also wasn't representative of me. It's me making my like infant son like laugh with like tape pulling it. That's not my jam. That's not my thing, dude. So that didn't really take. There wasn't like a big uptick in my. There was like you get a few thousand followers who then guess what? They expect that content from you. When you then do the old sneaky on them and go, actually, I'm really into like dark, moody, aesthetic videos, and they go, fuck that. That is not what I signed up for. I signed up for laughing babies. This is some bullshit.
Right.
So guess what? Now you're stuck with this new putrid follower count that's like not into the shit you're actually about. Mm-hmm. I love that you also knew that getting the basics set up, which is like, get a Patreon, get a way for them to pay you. Do you also have a Bandcamp as well?
Yes, I have a Bandcamp. And mainly,
there you go,
I haven't. So personally, in this advice, it should be important to notice that while I am repping Patreon, I do not have a Patreon. I'm using it as an example in this case because what I do have is a Bandcamp. And I only recently, let me tell you, in the last 3 or 4 months, realized that Bandcamp is supposed to be the end of the funnel. I thought that Bandcamp was like the promotion.
But also it can be. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it can be.
But its real use is to actually get someone to make a purchase. That's the point of it.
And support you and tip you as well, by the way.
Right.
That's the beauty of it. There's a floor. There's no ceiling. That's the beauty. And you know what? I don't care how old I was when I learned a thing. You know what? As long as we're there's funny thing, we actually don't know most things. So let's be kind to ourselves and remember, hey, this is kind of fucking hard, first of all. There's a reason that people charge thousands of dollars, myself included, for like the services that come with this shit. And that's why this is so important, is having these conversations, because hopefully you listen in, pay attention, learn some things, and then you can just do it yourself, because that's also a viable option. And you've been doing it, dude. You have been doing it. And like, I mean, yeah, there's different ways of utilizing every tool. I think that, email marketing is vastly underused. I think that I would be very curious to learn what part of social media costs you the most.
Like straight up dollars and cents costs?
I would say overall, because I know dollars and cents is that depends. But I'd say like including time and energy and grays in our hairs. Like I think, and effort, everything, the whole package holistically.
Oh, I mean, that's a tough choice. They're all, they're all giving you the Benjamin Button. They're all making you feel like Benjamin Button. I would look, okay. Meta ads are super, super confusing. If you don't know, just the UI, just the user interface.
They're awful. So bad.
I want to reach through the fucking computer and slap the
every time
shit out of Zuckerberg. God damn, every fucking day I look at that UI. And if you are listening, Mark Zuckerberg, please, I will slap your fucking laptop on the counter again just because of meta ads. Just
what
because
this man
of
said.
meta ads.
I second that. I third that.
Yeah. So
honestly,
that shit, like I had to hire somebody to do that, and I'm not even sure if it's really the right avenue to be going after right now, but it is an avenue that is showing results. So it's, you have to weigh out these things. What is the cost versus what is the result in every single thing that you purchase? So that as well should be a defining idea for you to realize that there is a cap that you can spend on these things, and that you should be thinking of an established budget for a result, not just, I'm going to throw this and see what happens. Like, you can do that, but do that sparingly. Try to invest in things that you know will get you a result. And this segues directly into the next thing that I discovered that was an extreme help, and I didn't think it was going to be, because it didn't seem like it wasn't marketed to me, but I turned it into something that works for me, and that is a virtual assistant. There are many, many different companies that you can hire to have a virtual assistant who does video editing, that does social media posting, that does merchandise store creation, that does e-commerce and SEO work for you. And it does it for very, very cheap comparatively.
Interesting.
So all of that applies to an artist trying to work online. And it's behind the scenes entirely and has nothing to do with music, but it's fucking helpful.
Nice. I think that's a huge... so when you say virtual assistant, what I immediately think, like, oh, ChatGPT, Claude, Google Gemini.
An actual person. A virtual assistant in this case is talking about it is a virtual relationship that I only meet with them online because they are in a different country. It's outsourcing to a different country. So you have to also as well be okay with that. And for me, I'm okay with that because
of course,
people need money too.
It's crazy. I know that people generally the world over, and I know this is wild for some people who have maybe not explored outside of nations, but I've been some places, and the craziest shit, humans here, kind of like humans there. I know, it's wild. People all kind of have to eat and poop and sleep and nuts. So, no, I appreciate that. And virtual assistant that's so not the thing that I thought you were going to go with, first of all. So, like, again, you're coming in hot with some maverick shit here. So this is wild. I love the variety. That's one of our values here at V13. But also, like, I love that if you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses, why would you not account for the weaknesses that you have, set yourself up, just play to them? And it sounds like you're, like, willing to acknowledge, like, okay, maybe I'm not amazing at the administrative stuff. However, I can't afford a manager, which, by the way, I hate when people do that, where they're like, I just need a manager. I'm like, you have put out like 3 carousels worth of social media content over the past 3 months, and you're telling me that the real struggle is that? Dude, that's not it. That's not it. You're doing the I think what you're doing is really thinking outside the box. That really is something else. I hadn't even thought of that before. So, like, that's really amazing. So where did you find yours, if you don't mind me asking? Like, how did you even start? How did you land up or discover that?
Honestly, I typed virtual assistants into Google. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And then after that, Instagram flooded me with ads for every virtual assistant company in the entire fucking world. And then I had a pick of the litter. So I knew what was going to happen when I did that. So I did it and got the result that I wanted. It's important, if you're going to be angry at the system, at least play the system to your fucking advantage. At least.
Oh, shit. I mean, I deserve that answer. I truly do. So what did you do for a virtual assistant? It's crazy. So there's this, if you type in, just go Google. No. But it's so true, though. Like, I'm thinking like some sort of like, no, just do a poke around for like a minute and it'll get served to you. It's so true. Yeah. So true.
And it did. And, I do the same thing with marketing companies. I go and search music marketing companies. and I have them send shit to me all the fucking time. My ads are filled with it.
Yep.
And it's so much better than just stupid other ads. Make
course,
it something that you would use.
Right. I mean, my Instagram has me down dead cold. That's awesome. Because, first of all, I get to then slowly, subtly control it, first of all. You get to change your diet, funny enough, with what you consume. That's why when people are like, oh, I'm just so pissed off with this thread, as they continue to like, share, and view it, and I'm just like, babe, I get that, like, telling you to eat a salad is kind of like a bit shitty and dismissive, but at the same fucking time, it's content, so, like, get your dopamine hit with something else. Like, look up artists, music. Like, it's crazy, I know, but the more you engage with, and that's why I actually don't skip through ads a lot of the time that are in my wheelhouse, because I'm like, I want to see what they're doing. I want to see what they're up to. And also, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but like every single meta ad that's ever existed, there's a library of that. Mm-hmm. You did know this?
No, I didn't. Actually.
Were you aware?
I'm
okay, check this out. So they don't advertise this, funny enough, but there is an entire library of every meta ad that's ever existed, ever. It's the meta ad library, and go ahead and give that a Google, and you can look up like the specific niche. Now, I don't know how good it's gotten. I don't think that they tend to want to front load this, because it's like, oh, by the way, every time you fill out an ad, you become part of that library. If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you. But that it's worth noting. And so you're already giving me like tons of things to work with here. What, in terms of content, I know that we're like, I'm just blowing through all the time talking about fucking tactics, but I'm just this is my wheelhouse. This is everything that I do on like my day to day that isn't just like writing extreme horror. So when I'm actually doing client work, I'm, focused on this. Yeah. What would you say is like, okay, between content or email marketing? I'll leave it to you. Which would you prefer to talk about more?
Content.
Okay, right on. When it comes to content, first of all, you've been in it for a minute. Like, this is like 2012 you mentioned. I mean, you've seen the landscape change more times than I've had hot meals, I take it. So like, it's in terms of the emphasis then versus the emphasis now, how different would you say it is?
The emphasis on what?
On what you have to put into content, the effort, the amount of like cerebral energy expended to try and create something then versus now.
Oh, way less now than then. Way less. For example, I can run meta ads that are, stock pictures of people riding motorcycles. And when you place that visual imagery along with my song Trendsetter, because it's a harder, groovier song with a groove, but it's still got deep distorted guitars, a strong violin and guitar mix in the leads, so it doesn't sound like a regular, but it sounds like Dwayne Allman. So it's like Dwayne Allman put on top of distorted guitars, and I'm trying to sell that directly to motorcycle people by just putting motorcycles in the fucking ads. I don't put my face on there and say, motorcycle fans, maybe you'll like this. That's not even the fucking point. But in 2012, that's what it would have been. You would have had to go on there and be like, hey, Harley Davidson, go and check out my stuff, man. And they would be like, who the fuck is this guy? But you get their entire fan base, and then the rest of the fan base will tell Harley Davidson about you. That's the result you want, not you trying to beg Harley Davidson. So when you play the game nowadays, my God, it's fucking stupid simple, and it's counterintuitive with how simple it really is.
And that's the funny part is like when you're talking about, so it's funny that you mention meta ads in that as well, because if you are running them, it's such a different game. Because before I ever ask or tell any of my artists, like, they're like, oh, and when do you guys run ads? And I'm like, first of all, we don't. So like, just get that out of your mouth. And secondly, I don't want you talking or thinking about ads until you've done like organic content of your own, because by the time we're done with our time here, I want you to know, Kung Fu, I do not want to have been fishing for you the whole time. I genuinely want to upskill you. Think of this as like a coaching program, because A, that's what it bloody well is. And secondly, like, I don't want to have to like I want to fix your ability to feed yourself, not fix your hunger. I'm not a line cook. I'm here to actually train you, bruh. I am here to like upskill you. Why? Because I think that that's more worthwhile. I think that that's my sense of morals would have a tough time with that, being like, oh, I'll just give them what they want and give them the easy answer. I want people to learn, but I also want to learn. Maybe people do want a quick solve and the whatnot. So when it comes to like the content that you create, appreciating that there's ads that, because you've been doing it forever, like, what is for someone who's just starting out and they've got no audience, and ads are not an option, what would you say to them in terms of like figuring out their content?
I would say first, start with your recorded audio. Make sure that your recorded audio is the best that it possibly can be and is populated on all the major streaming services, which means you put it and direct it through a distributor. I use Too Lost. They're dope. They're super dope. They've got a whole bunch of different tools, a responsive customer service. They actually give you updates on things. It's very, very straightforward.
Wow.
Way more so than most of the other distributors that I work with. For example, I will forever, and because I just heard this, I'm going to trash the shit out of them now. CD Baby, fuck them.
Yeah.
They got bought by Sony. So fuck them. So now they're part of the man. Before, they were the distributor that was, we're the odd ones out. We're trying to get, democratize it, give it to the people.
Right.
Their fucking process is so goddamn backwards. It's unbelievable. When you step into Too Lost, it's like, holy shit. It's like walking back into 1850 and handing Abraham Lincoln a fucking smartphone and being like, dude, look this shit up, man. Don't go to the fucking theater. Like, that's essentially the result that we're talking about here. It's very, very important for people to realize. Just like the people that you choose to distribute with matters. It matters. Mm-hmm. So when you get that, then focus on short form content. Don't go directly to a $10,000, $15,000, $5,000 even music video. Don't do it. Do short form content in as many different locations as you can, and the next two people who you add onto your team are going to be a videographer that you can trust, that will give you the goods for the right price, and a fucking lawyer.
Ooh, you went lawyer route. Okay. Hell yeah.
Because after that, the lawyer is going to be the person who creates the longevity of the brand.
Interesting.
So now you've got the short form to build it slowly, and the one person to take the longevity.
Wow. Man, I'm loving all the like curveballs you're giving my way today. I mean, like, you're obviously saying all the things that are getting me all hot and heavy, but at the same time, you're also coming up with like, hey, here's how I would also do it next. And I'm like, fuck, what? Okay. I mean, obviously, lawyers are given at any point in terms of they're going to be on the team. Don't even think about something else. Like, they got to be there. But that early on, that's a maverick choice. But simple thing, look up music lawyer on Google. Yeah. I think I'm going to take a crazy big pivot here for a minute, because I mean, I've just basically I've milked this, and I would hate to milk it without getting a chance to really talk about this has all come from a place of having to learn it yourself. And I love that you have had to, you've really taken on all the lessons, as the industry has also shifted completely under your feet. Because it's been the case. I've literally been working professionally in it, like to the extent that I have for like the last 3.5 years. And in that time alone, there has been more seismic shifts in the industry than like seemingly the 10 years before that when I was just writing in it. So like, it's just like, what is happening right now, man? Constantly.
Yeah.
I have to wonder, like, and I want to, this is the pivot. I want to ask about, like, if none of this paid off any further than it already has, like, if it's like this, would you still do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
100%. Because the expression is necessary for me. To me, the goal is to create the best possible art that describes my situation, my environment, my reality, my human experience, that is in a transferable way. That's the goal. Everything else is gravy on top of it. Everything else is the cherry on top. And you got to work for it. But the success comes from setting out to accomplish something in art and succeeding, and doing it because you focused on the techniques and you practiced and you thought about the art that you wanted to put out, and not just wanted to get out in front of people, but thought about it, really thought about what kind of message you're really delivering in the long term. Think about that. Put that and make that your goal. And then once you create that, eventually people will see what it is that you're creating, and they'll want to do something to make it. But you then have to answer that question. There's been so many times when people have come up to me and be like, I love what you're doing. I love the art that you're putting out. How do I support you? And there have been times in which I've had to look at them and be like, I don't know. And that's a bad answer. That's a bad answer. And I knew it was a bad answer at the time, but I had to say it because I didn't have any of the infrastructure that I'm talking about right now for a long time.
It's real. That's such an honest answer as well. And I appreciate that. I really do. Like, cause like it's some people just, you'd have to have like a gun to their head to have them answer that way, to be as honest as that. Cause like, sorry, but like needs must. I guess I'd also have to ask, like, when have you had to pivot instead of quit? Cause I know that you instead of quitting, cause you're still here. You might have taken breaks, obviously, but was it a pivot as opposed to a short-term break? When have you had to do that?
So I will say, I had a moment in which I was considering giving it all up, and it's the same reason why I was smiling really big when you said you need a manager. No, you don't, because you don't need a manager. Because I had a horrible fucking experience with a manager. Management company tried to steal my record at the point of distribution and not tell me about it. And then they sent me a contract that was, they own everything, including my image in perpetuity in all the universe. That was a literal contract that they fucking gave me. And
what year was this?
This was in 2017. This is with my album Antiquate Hate. It's why it's not on Spotify. And when it was there, it was under a different copyright, because they claimed that copyright for about 5 or 6 years. So I had to destroy my own record in the marketing process in order to not give them access to my copyright.
Oh my God, dude.
Then I filed it and I took the copyright back. So now I'm going to re-release it under my copyright because I own my own music again. I went through a little Taylor Swift.
Hell yeah, dude. I think, listen, if it's good for Tay-Tay, it's good for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hell yeah.
Straight up. I don't give a fuck, bro. Guess what? I'm going to write, it's still I still, like, I wrote the damn thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, guess what? I'm going to do it again. Another one. One more time.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, at that point, a lot of people would have really, that is a moment where you're like, dude, how do I go up against this?
I was at my lowest.
100%.
5 years of work. We had a legendary producer on that record, George G1 Archie, who worked with Death Row Records and Capitol and Arista. Like, this dude was legit to the max. I learned so fucking much from him. Just hearing him mix the final versions, just sitting in the room, I learned so goddamn much. And
I can imagine.
It was unbelievable to watch a true master at work. Unfucking real. And there was that shit still prepared me and gave me the idea of how to make this music thing truly autonomous when you can create the highest quality product. And that stuck in my head forever. And I gave myself over to being the eternal student, to knowing that it may take me until I'm 60 years old to figure out how the best way to mix my own records are, but I'm going to do it regardless. And because I have the time, because I'm a disabled veteran, to do this and to dedicate myself to it. If I didn't dedicate myself to this, I'd be dedicating myself to a fucking bottle. And it's really, really important for me to stay connected to the rest of the world by doing this. And it's not because I need their acceptance or validation, but it's because it's what the process that I need to do on a daily basis to deal with my PTSD is to make something with it. Because my nervous system doesn't fucking stop. It doesn't. It keeps going regardless. So if I'm working a job at 7-Eleven and my PTSD is activated and that one customer slams down their Mountain Dew and is super fucking pissed off for no good reason, and I look up to them, dude, what the fuck are you so pissed about? And they look back at me and say, hey, fuck you, man. Guess what I'm going to do? Not going to take that shit, because that's just who I am. I didn't watch my buddies die face down in the muck to listen to this stupid fucking asshole tell me, how I should think or say or feel. So if I'm going to take that mentality, I might as well take it into a job or a career in which that mentality matters. Like being an artist. We need artists to stand up to authority and tell them the fuck is the matter with them. Mm-hmm. Because if they aren't listening to the regular people, then artists have to start doing it. So we have to start making protest things beyond just protest things. We have to start making real arguments, and this is why comedians for a good long time were the spokesman of the people, because they were able to say things that we, wouldn't want to say, because we were so controlled in our speech and our minds. And now that we've sort of broken open to that and we're much more okay with saying fuck you to a leader, it's really, really important that we focus that rage into something constructive.
First of all, thank you for saying I didn't see my buddies die face down in the mud. Being able to hear somebody actually say that and mean it, for once, is like a highlight of this podcast, okay? So I can pretty much like press end on this whole thing and I will have been like, hell yeah, dude. I had one of those like real moments. Secondly, I am so here for the absolute, the resistance question, which is 100% the thing that I want to share, and talk about, because in terms of real tactics of what resistance can look like, I'm real interested in that, first of all. So, I mean, I am a big, first of all, I'm a student of history. Okay. That was what I, decided that was going to be my thing in university. 'Cause sure. Yeah, that'll help. Funny enough, having a weird humanities degree ended up helping with the stuff later on. It's just the getting there. But like knowing your history, you study, like things happen because people actually went and did stuff. It's crazy how that works, isn't it? Yeah. Reform didn't really do much in world wars or revolutions. It's crazy. I know it's a concept, and this is what you're saying is like, hey, you want things to happen? I know it's going to be real difficult, but like, go and fucking make it happen, dude. I'm here for it. When it comes to communities talking to each other, we talk about a big game, and I don't mean you and me. I mean like them, the entire ecosystem of all the people that are currently making content for the swill of like, everybody's talking about like, we just need to go back to community. And I'm like, okay, what is that? What does that look like? Let's talk about what does that look like?
Right.
Let's make a real quick playbook for the entirety of humanity really quickly, just for all of like the working class musicians, so they can just like read this now and be like, oh, that's what you got to do. Let's do a speed round. 2 minutes. We'll just figure out the whole community question. Okay. I didn't have this prepared. I'm just doing it because I told you, raging ADHD. But
right.
let's do it. So, um, you just blurt out whatever answer you want, but right away I'm thinking, first of all, stop like talking shit so much about other people. Like stop. Like if you need to talk shit to someone, just do it to their face and like get it aired out. And then if you are not cool with that person, that's cool. But like maybe don't bring the whole like, oh well, they're problematic because they told me that I look like a fucking idiot when I eat salad or something like that. I don't know. Like maybe don't make it a whole political question about people, and maybe don't do the whole like trying to cancel people inside of your scene that you just don't like. Possibly. I'm just throwing this out there.
Yes. Yes.
That's my first one.
Yeah. I would say there is definitely I'm a progressive humanist, but I still have a problem with microaggressions, just as a concept and a reason, because that fuels the kind of thing that you're talking about. It's a very soft bigotry of language, and it's very, very important to realize that that's just creating an avenue for people to be passive aggressive, not actually confrontational, because confrontational is supposed to create a resolve. It's supposed to create a resolution. And
Right.
that's the key. When the goal is resolution, community thrives.
Ooh, shit. That's so much cleaner. Fuck you, man. Come on. Okay, nice. You wrap that up in a bow. I love that. Okay, so resolution is the goal. Don't harbor some fucking bullshit grudge that you would never be like, you're too much of a coward to actually air out with someone else. Just the same way, stop talking shit when you've just only heard of it and not actually experienced or seen it yourself. Again, it's the resolution thing, so that's not really relevant. Definitely pay it forward, I think, is a given. Like I think that like there's something to be said for like being at least to some degree altruistic in your attempts, at least, even. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. How does that sit with you?
I think of something that I've been saying for a while, and that is that 50% of the music industry is either actively looking to fuck you over or will eventually. 50%. And so far, so far it seems generous.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very generous assessment. I literally, oh man, I literally have seen. Oh man, I can't tell you the number of scam attempts I've seen in the last like quarter.
Yeah.
Man, like it's bad, dude.
Yeah.
It's nasty out there. Like phishing and fucking scamming people, and like that's just the scam stuff. Then you have like the straight up like legal scamming that happens like with these 85-15 splits and these fucking recoupment bullshit. Man. Yeah. Listen, and then from you, I mean, like you're cleaning up my pithy attempts. What do you think is like one of the things that's lacking from the discussion of like community here? Like, what do you think like is going to be something that actually moves the needle on that?
Well, right now, I mean, addressing the problem is important to me. The problem is there's a true lack of justice. There is an ability for people to screw other people over, and in the end, they can just kind of ignore it. When it comes to the bigger deals, accountability is very, very necessary. Unfortunately, with the music industry, you can get someone to sign a contract that is absolutely, the worst thing in the world, and if they don't know better and they're backed into a corner, maybe they'll do it, and then they'll end up a fucking music slave. This is a very real thing, and it's why, in 2012, I was happy to get dropped by a label. I was fucking ecstatic because I'm like, oh, I dodged a bullet. Like now the contract doesn't fucking apply. Fantastic. Fuck that.
Excellent.
Yes. So it's important to realize that the fans are entirely separate from all this other shit, and it's very, very important that the ire that you have to have and the scrutiny to put other people that you work with in a different category than the fans and the people who are trying to enjoy your music. So there needs to be two separate communities, at least. One between the music industry people where there is accountability, where there is a reckoning when people totally screw other people over. There is a justice system that stands up for it, that gives you a lawyer when you need it, not just because there's not a dollar amount attached to the figure. Like that kind of shit needs to fucking stop. It's not the first time that this kind of thing has happened to me, and I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. So when you have the ability to actually hold people to justice, it's a different fucking world. And I've had that experience too. And it's very, very important that in the music community, as you know, between fans, that we stop trying to create cults of personality and stop trying to make the marketing about cults of personality, but all I can really say is try to make it about ideals and creating the world that you want to see instead of just look at me. Like, not everything should be Mr. Meeseeks. You know what I mean?
God. God damn. What better way to end off? Because, like, honestly, I can't improve on that answer. It really comes down to, like, you want to see a community. Well, first of all, be the values that you want to see in it. Act accordingly. Just know it. Just really, really, really properly embody that. And it's so hard too, because at the same time you're trying to think, you're forced to like think about just you. And then the second you get up from that workshop table, you're expected to now suddenly be this like interconnected person who is not just a person. You're now coordinating with others. You're a collaborator.
You're a brand.
Yeah, you got to be all things to all folks, man. But listen, hey, that's showbiz, babe.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. And yeah, okay, you get rid of the wildly disproportionate level of influence that certain mediums have. Well, there's a cost, and that is, guess what? Okay, fine, you want the power? Great. Now you have it. Enjoy. Hope you have fun with that. Don't run too fast. Then people are like, damn, I didn't actually want to have to like do the actual stuff that comes with owning all of it. I wanted just the upside, right?
Right.
No, you've dealt with like all of that, and real recognize real. I really respect how far and how much bullshit you've dealt with and how far you've come since that. Like, dude, I don't know. I just, I guess what I'm trying to say is I really hope you keep doing your thing, man. And I'm really pumped that I got to speak with you on the show. And I'm just going to give it over to you. One final word to cap us off here.
Thank you so much, man. I will keep doing it, and I will keep going. And I'm going to, even when things are at their worst for me, I've still found ways to get through it. And that's something that has come through hard work. And so in that, I'll say, go listen to Aversion to Normalcy up on Spotify and on all streaming services everywhere. Go support your boy. You know what's up.
Love it. Thank you.